Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 6 start and sit video for the running back position. Again, if you're new to the channel, this is always going to be based off of full PPR and half PPR. That way you guys are prepared for that. If it is standard, of course, ask us in the comments down below. We'll be able to answer any of those questions for you. Now, we do have 4 teams on a bye week. We've got the Lions, the Texans, the Titans, and the Raiders. So make sure you guys are prepared for that. You guys are losing running backs like Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Dameon Pierce, Jamal Williams. So there's a lot of good running backs that are not playing this week that you should be paying attention to. Now, these are your obvious starts you should be starting. Again, whether it's matchup, whether it is, I would say, just a RB1 getting plenty of shares. These are the running backs you're going to start this week. Now, the first running back I recommend as a good start is going to be Devin Singletary. Now, he's probably someone you don't always start. You probably put him in your flex every once in a while, but he's got a good matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs allow the third most points to the running backs with 29.6. They also allow 11 targets and 10 receptions per game to the running back, which is huge. This is where I think Singletary can help benefit. Now, Singletary over the season has had a 66% snap share. He's gotten a little bit down below the last couple weeks, but he's still in that 60% range. So he is getting a lot of the snaps and the targets for the running back position on this high-powered offense. And this could be a high-powered game in general between Kansas City and Buffalo Bills, kind of a rematch of the playoffs last year. So I like him getting about 5 to 6 targets, if not more, in the reception game, and probably about 80 or so yards in a touchdown. So I like him a lot this week. Another running back I like this week is going to be Ramondre Stevenson. Now, he had 90% snap share last week with obviously Damian Harris going out. They're going against the Browns this week, and he should be obviously the RB1. The Browns allow 29.1 points and over 124 rushing yards to the running backs. They also allow an average of a rushing touchdown per game. So not only is he taking the RB1 duties because of Harris being out, he was slowly getting an increase in snap share anyways, and he finished last week with 161 rushing yards and 2 receptions. So this is a really good game for him to have another solid week. That might slowly take over a lot of that snap count when Damian Harris comes back. Now, this is kind of a sneaky play. You might think I'm a little crazy for this one, but I like Cam Akers this week against the Panthers. If there's ever going to be a game that Cam Akers is going to redeem himself, this has got to be it. The Panthers allow 26.2 points to the running back, which is 7th most in the league. They also allow 120 rushing yards and 30 receiving yards. So again, if there's going to be a game for Cam Akers to really succeed, the offensive line has struggled. And at this point, the Panthers are really, vying for that number 1 pick at this point. I don't know how competitive this game will be, but I do see the Rams being up, and I see them utilizing Cam Akers quite a bit. So he's a nice, sneaky play this week. If you have him, you might want to put him in that flex spot. Now, guys, I'm going to say this week again, it's going to be Najee Harris. At this point, I'm not saying you're dropping Najee, just because there's always that possibility of him actually having a good game. But the offensive line is horrible. You've got a rookie quarterback that obviously puts now the focus fully on Najee Harris, and he's just absolutely struggling. And you're going against the Bucs this week, who have the second best rush defense, who have kept backs under 17 points. They do allow about 90 rushing yards or so, but they don't allow a lot of points per reception. They don't allow a lot of touchdowns on the running game. So again, based off the fact that the Bucs are going to obviously put a lot of their focus on Najee, I don't feel comfortable starting him this week. Another running back I'm sitting this week is going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Look, Helaire is going against the Bills. Bills keep backs under 55 rushing yards. They also only allow 19.1 points to the running back. They do a pretty good job of bottling them up. Plus, this is going to be more of a high-scoring game where I think the passing game will play a factor, and he's slowly losing his snap count. Right now, on average, he's about 45% snap share. McKinnon had 53% last week. So McKinnon's getting a lot of those factors where it's third down passing, even red zone action. Hilaire's kind of struggling and losing that. So right now, again, at this point, unless you have to put him in maybe the flex, I'm not starting him at all. Another guy I'm not starting or I don't feel comfortable with this week is going to be Miles Sanders. Now, Miles Sanders is actually doing a phenomenal job this season. He's 414 rush yards, which is one of the top in the league. But he's going against the Cowboys. Cowboys are the 6th best defense against the run. They keep backs under 18 points in fantasy. They've also allowed only 1 rushing touchdown this season so far. Now, Miles' snap share has increased each week, which I think really goes into what I think they believe and expect in him. And he's done a really good job. I actually have had a lot of high hope with Miles Sanders in a lot of, especially dynasty leagues. But this matchup is just a little bit tougher. I think it's going to be a very interesting game where realistically you're doing the best defense, one of the best defenses in the league, against a really high-powered offense, which is led by Jalen Hurts and his legs and his arm. I don't think Miles Sanders can really benefit from this. Now, it might be a good flex play based off of your team, but I don't put him as an RB1 or RB2 this week. I just don't like his matchup. Now, some good sleepers this week. The first guy I have Benjamin. He's going against Seattle. Seattle's allowed 28.4 points. They also allow 130 rushing yards and 45 receiving yards. May be the RB1, depending on what's going to happen with James Conner and Darrell Williams. They could possibly miss this game. He played last week, which actually did a pretty good job. He had 63 yards and a touchdown after filling in when both those guys went down with injuries. And I have a lot of high hope with Benjamin. I thought he was going to be the RB2 anyways behind James Conner. I thought he was actually going to get more shares this season. But this may be the game that he kind of proves it. He kind of becomes more of a relevant and good passing piece in this offense. So I do hope this game he does become the RB1, that he does start to get some of those extra shares in the rest of the season. Another running back I like this week is going to be Brian Robinson. He came back from his first game last week after being shot in his leg, which is crazy. He's going against the Bears this week. This is a good game to possibly play him just because he led the running backs in carries last week with 9. He had a 30% snap share. And again, remember, this is his first game. I see him increasing that to probably 45 to 50% snap share, which is only going to help him out. So he's going to get more targets in the passing game. He's going to get obviously more opportunities in the red zone when they get there. Gibson is expected to increase his special teams play in kick return and punt return, which is what was said by Rivera. So there's a good chance, again, Brian Robinson, McKissick, and then Gibson. I think it's going to be where that three-headed monster is. And I think Brian Robinson over time will slowly get there. So I like him as a good flex play. Just be careful. It's Thursday. You don't want to put your players in the flex, but I do like him this week. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for week 6 running backs. Again, hopefully this helped you guys kind of determine where you guys should be putting your players. If you guys do have questions who you should be starting and sitting, again, always hit us with the comments down below. We'll be gladly to help you. If you guys have not already, check out our quarterback start and sit video as well. Hopefully you guys got your waivers. If you haven't, or if you still have some players, check out our waiver wire video. There might be some suggestions for you guys there as well. Again, if you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell is on. It's greatly appreciated. And also hit the like button. It helps us out a lot. You guys have been an amazing community. We guys appreciate everything you guys have done watching these videos, asking away questions. Again, we're hoping to help you guys win this season. All right, and I'll check you guys out next time.